G'day everyone, Mark here from Fernandez Finds Adventure, and in today's episode we're going to be doing a little bit of a walk around of my now finished solar lithium setup in the back of the cab of my D22 Nissan Navara. So let's get into it. So starting at the very top, we have got a 160 watt solar panel. Now this solar panel, the solar regulator and the lithium battery were all purchased from outbacks.com.au. So in case you're wondering where I got these specific components from, that is where I got it. Now I mounted these to my Rhino racks and they came with the car, and I just used a L aluminium bracket, 3mm thick plate, and basically all I did was just drill a hole that side, and just used some Loctite on the thread just to keep them bolted down. And I did that on all 4 of the corners as well, just in case you're wondering. So then we move down, and I'll just hop down here, and we have the cables, which I haven't quite figured out how I want to mount them yet, but it doesn't really bother me at the moment. It's all going okay, so I'm not really too concerned. Then basically we're moving down into where the wires go into the actual cab. Now I don't think you'll be able to see it. I'll do my best to zoom, but basically the wires go into a hole that I made into the back of the cab, and there is a grommet there that I have put so no water gets into the cab. Then we've got all the wiring in behind this plate here. Now I'm not going to remove this plate purely because I've got my fire extinguisher and stuff here, so I don't want to remove it unless it's kind of emergency, but basically you wouldn't be able to see much anyway. It's a bit dark, but I have done my whole solar series setup, so I did a full walkthrough of those wires and how I set them out to get them looking as clean as they are. So I have got my solar controller here, my solar regulator, which does keep my battery topped up. And if you're wondering, I do not have a DC to DC charger, so it's not plumbed into or wired into the main electrics of this car at all. So there's no extra strain on the alternator. It's all purely off solar. I haven't had any issues with the battery not getting enough power so far. So far so good, I guess. Yeah, so let's just keep moving. We've got the fire extinguisher here. We've got a small section here. I'm not too sure if I want to put something there or not. Maybe a small little first aid kit might be good there, but haven't quite decided that yet. I've got a couple of just Velcro here and a hook there as well. Now I have my phone, which I like to keep charged up, so I will just put that there, and all of my stuff has Velcro on it because it's my little universal system that I use. So I will keep my Garmin InReach Mini here, which I will be doing a review on at some point. And I also have a little hook here that I painted black and just screwed onto the back there just for my action camera bag. So basically the idea is that I just hook my bag onto there. It's got the action camera can't go onto there, but the action camera bag goes onto it. I can just plug it in to the USB to charge it. Then moving on to the battery, we have got a Voltax 100 amp hour lithium LiFePO 4 battery, and I have done a review on that which will be coming up very shortly. So if you're interested in purchasing one of these, I will tell you all of the details and all of the experiences that I've had with the battery and with the company that I purchased it from so far. So if you want to have a look at that video, make sure you stick around. I had this big space here that I didn't really know what to do with because I wanted to keep this area free. As I explained in my previous videos, I want to keep this area free as a little workspace and also for a place for my dog. So she's only a small dog, obviously, so not a big space was needed, but I did want to leave some space just for things like groceries as well. Like on wet days, you don't want to be putting all that stuff into the tray. It can be a bit of a hassle and it all slides around. So just getting a couple of things, chuck a bag in here, whatever it is that you need, I want to keep that free. So now I had this space here. Didn't know what to do with it. So I measured the space and I just barely fit a 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter Rhino cargo box, and I purchased this one from Bunnings. Australian made, which is excellent. We always want to be encouraging that. And in this box here, it is weather sealed and everything, not that I need it, but I can use it for other things as well. Inside of here, we have got my recovery gear, and I also put my tools in here. Now, I was using most of my tools earlier today on an install video, so a lot of them aren't in there, but it's just a great little spot where I can just chuck all my tools and stuff in, or any, maybe a lead, or, the dog's food and water or anything like that I just don't want sliding around, and I can just keep that in there like that. Moving around to the other side of the vehicle, and we have got my fridge. Now, something I'll show you as well, just in case I did forget this earlier, is that this battery box I purchased from Autobarn, just in case you're wondering. And one thing I like about it is a little voltmeter on it, so you can check exactly how many volts this thing's pumping out. So in case you're wondering, I didn't want to skip that. Also too, just while I think about it as well, I purchased all the hardware and stuff from Bunnings, and I also got this mat, this marine mat. I got that from Bunnings as well, and I got that at a really good price. It was for a 3 meter by 1 meter roll. I purchased that for about $50. So I did do a cost breakdown, so don't quote me on that. If you wanted to check that out, that might give you a bit more of an idea how much all this stuff cost. But yeah, marine carpet was excellent price. I wasn't expecting to pay that little, to be honest, when I was doing this project. So moving on to one of the main reasons why I did this whole setup to begin with, was the convenience of having a fridge. Now, this fridge here was a very cheap fridge. I picked it up for around $320, and it's got a couple of good features on it. I'm not going to go into all the features of it. I will save that for a separate video, but basically it's 25-litre fridge. It's got a nice little compartment in there and a nice little light as well too. So very handy. I will do a full rundown of my thoughts of this, and if I've done it already, I'll put a little tab at the top there for you to click. So to keep the Brass Monkey fridge in place, I had to use a ratchet strap. Now, the reason why I had to do that is if you can take a look at these handles, you'll notice that there is no holes in them to be able to use a fridge strap, and you can't exactly put a fridge strap over the top here as well because it needs to open. So, a dilemma. What I did was I used a hook here, and I ended up putting another hook just down the side there as well. Not sure if you guys can see that or not, but I ended up just looping through a ratchet strap that I purchased from Bunnings, the same one that I used on my battery box. Got them as a pack for two, something like $15, and I ended up just pulling them tight. And I've been down some pretty bumpy corrugations, and I'm happy to say that it did not move out of its place. Now, moving on to this mysterious bag here, that is a air compressor. I haven't found a better spot for that yet, but so far I'm pretty happy with that. And also too, I just keep my first aid kit under here. Not ideal because I need to be able to get that in an emergency from the driver's side. That was just a last minute thing that I put there. So I'll probably end up just putting it in the front somewhere. Definitely not the space that I will be keeping it in forever. Also too, a towel I just keep here because I think I'm a pretty organized person. However, I always seem to forget a towel on a trip, so that stays in there forever. One of the things that I really like about this little build that I did is it's got a neat little space down here where I can fit a few things that will go all the way through. So I'm thinking of maybe like a little dinner table or something like that would be nice to fit in there. A little camping table would be good. That's just kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. I'll probably end up making one, but yeah, nice little cubby there, nice little hidey hole. So I'll be able to put some little bits and pieces just like my first aid kit, which I'm just keeping there for now. So back around to the side that we started from, and again you can see I got this little spot here where I can put a few things. I've got my support there for the heavy side, you'll see that down there, and also too I have got my tire changing kit which I will be swapping out for a high lift jack, and I'll also be putting some different tools in there to be replacing just the factory pieces. But just for now, it's okay just to chuck in there until I get something better. And I also keep my axe there as well, just in case we need to chop down any trees. Being the wet season, it often trees get thrown all over the road, so that's better than having nothing at the moment. But yeah, that's just a little backup plan there. So guys, that just about covers the budget solar setup that I ended up doing in the back of my Nissan Navara. It's a work in progress. You know, it's a lot of trial and error and seeing, you know, what fits where. And, you know, often like when I was getting set up for my last little day trip that I did, I found that, you know, I was running out of space very quickly, and then I ended up just chucking the first aid kit, you know, behind the passenger side where I can't reach from the driver's side. So little things like that, it makes me think, I'm gonna have to put that in a slightly different spot to be a bit more convenient and a bit more safe out there on the tracks and on the roads. So for me, I'm still going through a lot of trial and error. That's why, you know, I'm doing all these little trips first as well, kind of, you know, gets all this kind of system refined, and yeah, and I can kind of make it my perfect little budget setup there. So I think that's it, guys. So if you enjoyed today's video, give it a like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. If you have any questions, make sure you chuck them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.